Good morning, everybody. Sorry about that. Welcome to today's Microsoft Flight Simulator live stream. We are in the Airbus A320 Neo. We are going from, technically, Bali, Indonesia, which is the Gusti Ngurah Rai International Airport, and we are headed to the Sultan Abdul Aziz Shah Airport in Subang, Malaysia. I had to try to get that right. So hopefully I did that okay. Couple of hours of flying, probably going to be closer to 3 by the time we touch down there in Malaysia. So let's get in here, get our aircraft set up, and get pushed back, get airborne, get this done. Hopefully everybody's having a good day. I know it's the not typical time. We will be back at the normal time tomorrow. I have an appointment today that I'm going to cancel because we have some seriously cold weather here where I live, and I am not about to go outside for any amount of time. Screw that. I am going to stay home and stay warm. So, yeah. So let's do this. Let's minimize that. We don't want him talking to ATC just yet. There we go. Goes to the autocomplete so that way we can just get going.
Ngurah clearance delivery Air France 237 IFR to Subang ready to copy.
Air France 237 is cleared to Subang Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 27 climb and maintain 10,000 feet. Departure frequency is 120.7 squawk 7125.
Air France 237 cleared to Subang Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 27 climb and maintain 10,000 feet. Departure on 120.7 squawk 7125.
Air France 237 readback correct. Contact ground on 118.8. Good day.
Lights on.
Ngurah ground Air France 237 with Alpha
I know
ready to
kind of which way
taxi
we're
IFR.
going already, but
Air France 237 taxi to and hold short of runway 27 using taxiway Alpha. Contact tower on 118.11 ready.
Taxi to and hold short runway 27 using taxiway Alpha Air France 237. Ngurah ground Air France 237 requesting pushback.
Air France 237 pushback request accepted.
that going. Morning, Joseph. How are you? Welcome. Nice to see you here. Joseph, you are the first one in the chat. You are my co-pilot for today. Congratulations. I forgot all about that yesterday. I think I gave it to Mick. Just on general principle alone. But you are the first one in the chat, so you are my The good thing is you don't have to know anything about what we're doing.
Angora ground, Air France 237 requesting pushback tuck to steer the aircraft to the left.
Air France 237, your request has been transmitted to the operator.
Well, there's that.
Angora ground, Air France 237 requesting the end of pushback.
Air France 237, request to end pushback received.
Both engines are running. Now I did kind of practice this a little bit yesterday evening after Mick and Pulse got done with their FIFA. Good morning, Chris. How are you? Nice to see you here. So I did practice the taxi, just kind of get an idea how this airport's laid out and everything. So not a very long taxi to our takeoff runway here. So we will be in the air momentarily. See how many folks we get in today. We've had quite a few views, which is good. Very appreciative. I did get a new, I'm up to 130 now, I think is the number I saw when we got started. Yeah, 130 subs, so thank you all for subscribing. We do try to fly daily, as much as I can. Usually go live at 6:30 in the morning. I'm doing okay. We just it got really cold last night. We got a little bit of snow, not like a significant amount, but it's just enough where I'm like, yeah, the weather's going to be like ridiculously cold this morning, so I'm like, I'm not going out. I'm canceling my appointment for today and all that, so I just gotta wait for the office to open up at 8, so by the time we land, I'm gonna call and let them know I'm not coming in today or tomorrow. It's just, the weather's gonna be just too ridiculously cold, even no matter how much warm I dress. It's, yeah, no, I'm not gonna risk it. So that's some beautiful scenery here, that's for sure. In Bali, Indonesia. Coastal airport here. Yeah, 130 subs, so greatly appreciate that. A lot of views on the flights, which is good. Appreciate that as well. We gotta get a little bit closer to the. Well, last night the co-pilot was talking to the air traffic control for our clearance to take off. Seemed like right about now they already were.
Angora Current tower Air France
There
237
we
ready
go.
for IFR departure runway 27.
Air France 237 altimeter 29.80 wind trees 59er at 10.
980.
Cleared for takeoff runway 27.
Cleared for takeoff runway 27 Air France 237.
All right. Alright folks, we are number 1 for takeoff. On behalf of myself and the entire flight crew, including First Officer Joseph, Mr. Addies, I'd like to welcome you to today's flight to Subang, Malaysia. We have a roughly 3-hour gate-to-gate coverage. Sit back, relax, enjoy the flight. We'll update you when we're ready to land. And away we go. Hello, Mick. How are you? Welcome. Nice to see you here, sir. A little bit more speed before we get up in the air. There we go. And away we go.
Air France 237 contact Bali Center on 120.7. Good day.
120.7 for Air France 237. Bali Center Air France 237 is at 1,500 feet, climbing 10,000 feet.
Air France 237 Bali Center altimeter 29.80 continue as planned.
Wow, 2 days a row of Joseph being in stream chats. Boy, he's like a brand new man. Yeah, I really enjoyed yesterday there, Mick. It was, you guys had a few tough ones, but overall you had some really good matches, I think, last night. So yeah, good stuff. Good to see you back in the saddle. Is there no updated 2980? I think that's what we already have. Yep. All right, perfect. Oh, feel the G-forces, that hard right turn. Oh my goodness. Oh, the humanity. Yeah. It was good to see you back. Back in action. Yeah, you guys had some pretty decent matches, that's for sure. I think that break kind of helped out. goes. Good stuff. Addies might do a FIFA stream at some point. Alright, we're near our initial 10,000 feet. Should get a call here any moment now to go higher. We're expected to go up to flight level 360. That poor guy last night made himself look stupid. Which one? The one at the very end there that was talking about he wanted to come in and he'd throw some hooks or something or other. That guy or somebody else?
Climb and maintain flight level 200 Air France 237.
Alright, there we go. The 20. So yeah, we got the 360 as our estimated down that altimeter reading before I forget. 280. We'll use that as our baseline when we get closer to our destination. Well, what, and we've talked about this before. Nick, you know what I'm about to say. Some people have a hard time when the word oh yeah, well, first he swore, which was, there was no reason for that, which I deleted, you know, because it was like, you know, you come into somebody's chat and when it's, you know, they say, well, we're wrapping up the stream, so you know, there was that, and then, but there was him, and then the first person, I think, that came in wanting to play with you guys, that it was like, look, you know, they're not looking, anybody who's looking for like additional players, it would be very clear in the title of the video, of the stream, you know, hey, you know, if you want to join, this is our information, that sort of thing. It's the same notion that some people just can't hear the word no, that, you know, they get angry when somebody says, well, you know, I would, what do you call it, but, you know, when it was like, no, they're not looking for people. And I know, you know, I think I've been around your guys' stream long enough, Mick, that if you were looking for people, you would say, yeah, you know, if anybody comes in, let them know we are looking for people, kind of thing. You know, that we're happy to have people join us. But this notion that they get angry about, you know, that when somebody's like, sorry, dude, we're not looking for players today, you know, maybe another time, kind of like, you know, you're wanting that interactions, maybe at some point they come back and it just happens to be that you and Pulse are going to be like, yeah, we're going to be taking on players from the chat. Whoever wants to come in, they're more than welcome to. So, you know, it's just that people can't hear the word no. They can't handle that sort of feedback, you know, for whatever reason. Or not even feedback. They can't handle being told no. And they think, for whatever reason, that, oh, if I say these are my stats, well, I'm really good at this position or whatever, that you're going to be like, well, okay, fine. But as you and Pulse kept asking, well, if you're this good, where's your team? You know, so either you're full of it and you're not being honest about your stats, or you've pissed off your teammates and they don't want to play with you. And I think it's more the second one, that they get so mouthy that their team doesn't want to be around them. And so now they're like, oh, I need to find other people to play with. Well, maybe if you weren't such a crap person, you know, then maybe people would want to play with you. So there's definitely something there that they're doing that isn't. Yeah, I get it. Okay, Joseph, we get the thing. Okay, you already said it once. You don't have to say it again. It's fine. We get what you're saying. So I'll let one F-bomb go, but a second one isn't necessary. Okay. It's all right. We get the gist of what you're trying to say. So it's fine. Don't make me fire you, dear co-pilot. Calm down. It's all right. We know what was done and what was said and how it wasn't cool. So it's okay. All right, we're getting to 20,000 here. Flight level 200. But yeah, I don't know. There's just definitely some sort of this notion that they feel that somebody owes them a spot on their team during the stream. You know. Because if they were that good, they would be in a pro club stream. You know, that it would be like they were part of a competitive group. You know, I think. All right, any moment now we should get that call.
Air France 237 climb
There
and
we go.
maintain flight level 300.
Climb and maintain flight level 300, Air France
We'll get the
237.
rest of the. Once we get up there to 300, we'll get the rest of it. And we'll be on our way. Yeah, that was just. I don't know. I know this is stuff that we've covered or talked about numerous times, is that people can't just come in and hang out, you know, and just watch the match. You know, they feel like, oh, I'm just going to go in here and start begging them to allow me to play with them, and they'll just finally say yes, and then I'll be in somebody's stream, and then I can say, oh, I played on FIFA last night on somebody's YouTube channel. So, yeah, I don't know. It's just nuts. Well, yeah, that's part of it. Is, you know, you guys have to exchange like information, or they have to find you on PlayStation Network and add you as a friend, I guess, or something. I don't know. It's just, I'm sure there's a big old mess behind it. But at the same time, you know, the way I look at it too is that, you know, you don't know. You know, you hope that person isn't going to come in and start acting up in the game. You know, and that's what they don't realize is there's an element of trust involved if you're going to invite random people into your matches. you know, that they're not going to come in and start acting foolish. Why does it seem like we're slowing down on the climb? Tell me the live weather is broken again. Should be shooting up to... That really didn't change anything. Okay, well. So long as we're climbing, that's all that matters. Crazy cloud cover here. Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good policy, Mick. And like I said, I think that's good because then it keeps people coming back to watch and then, you know, and interact in a positive way. You know. Yeah, and I agree with you, Joseph. He didn't need to be rude last night. I think we have quite made that clear that that was not acceptable on his behalf. You know, that he didn't need to do that. So, I completely agree. Man, it's like we're slowing down on the climb. That doesn't make any sense. Something's not right. Hope the live weather's not broken again. Well, here's what we can do. Let's go do this. There we go. Let's get that going. But yeah, there was... but yeah, I agree that it's important that they are able, you know, that they understand that if they come back and they engage with the chat, engage with you and Pulse and Predator if he's there or whatever, that eventually when you guys are ready to take on players that are in the chat, that, you know, you feel more comfortable with them. Now that last person, I certainly wouldn't invite them in to my game because, you know, it didn't seem like he was really, you know, he was more talking garbage than he was about actually coming in and helping out, or, you know, playing with you and Pulse and having some fun. And, you know, it was more like, oh, I'm just going to come in here and talk about giving people a right hook or whatever. Like, you know, really, dude? So... there's our Air France. Ooh, Air France. We're in the posh Well, because I have the live weather on. It says very clearly, whenever I have the live weather engaged, I put it in the description there. Okay. We're fine. We're just climbing out the clouds. I mean, we're going from Indonesia to Malaysia, so I'm sure there's a lot of heavy clouds and rainstorms and whatnot going on right now, so there we go. We're just climbing out of the storms. It's not that difficult to see. I mean, I can't see much of anything down there, but that's... Oh, thank you, Chris. I don't know what you're watching the stream on there. I don't know if you're watching on your phone, a tablet, or whatever. I can't, I don't know what to tell you. Alright, we should get the 36 next bit here in just a moment.
Air France 237 climb and maintain flight level 360.
Oops.
Climb and maintain flight level 360 Air France 237.
Yeah, maybe. Alright, we're just going to have to do it this way, I guess. Thank you, Mick. Yeah, kind of like, when Bex gives you and Pulse the runaround about, can't hear, but sometimes we can't. And Bex is the first one to point it out. Like, no, I'm telling you, I can't hear you guys. But then everybody's like, well, we can hear you. We can hear fine, So, yeah, because I get worried because I'm like, well, is there a problem with the stream or, so. And again, this is another thing we pointed out before too, that if you watch it on Twitch, it's much clearer. But if you watch it on YouTube, it's, they have their standard sort of compression and all that, so it does make things a little bit difficult to see sometimes, but that's beyond our control. That's just how YouTube operates. So sometimes, it's weird, like when I'm watching either you or Pulse. Oh, well, thank you, Joseph. I would hope so, because usually if I'm talking in mix, like, we're not hearing anything, he'll be like, check your mic. What was I going to say? When I'm watching you guys stream, it sometimes I'll get a it'll go very well, like it'll clear up very well on YouTube for a very short period of time, and then it'll get fuzzy again when the compression kicks in, it seems like. Ooh, look at that. We have a nice tailwind. Look at that. That says, oh, it's a 9 knots, but at least we got a tailwind, so that should help us get to our destination a little bit quicker. I don't know by how much, but alright, so we're starting to have this issue. We've seen this before with the weather. So I kind of feel like, yeah, I don't think the live weather is fixed. Now watch what happens. We're going to test this theory. Ooh, oh man, I really want the weather to stay on though, because it's really cool. We've got this thunderstorm right below us. But we're struggling to get to 36, out past 32,000 feet. If you'll notice, the vertical speed keeps changing. It goes up and we climb a little bit, and then it kind of like dies out. Notice that? See that? So that shouldn't be happening, I don't think. That seems to be a product of the live weather problems. If we slowed down, even though we've got like full throttle on, we're at a speed that we would normally be at a lower altitude. So something's not right. We're struggling to get to 36,000 feet. So I kind of feel like what we can do, right, we can turn live weather off. Now watch, we're just going to get right up to 36,000 right away. Look at that. See? Yeah. It was, I really wanted to fly with the weather on. Alright, let's get to our cruise altitude and then we'll turn the weather back on and see if we can make it the rest of the way with the weather on. We should be. It might have gone. Joseph multitasking. Look at you. Watching 2 streams at once. Let me guess, you're watching Joe as well, aren't you? I know he's on the flight sim this morning. I think so, Mick. I think it does, but I can't say for certain, so I don't, since I don't play on the PC, but I think it does. If I've understood the forums correctly, it's, yeah. Well, it seems like we've slowed down again. We're almost at. I guess we're just gonna have to leave the live weather off. Man, that blows. I was really hoping to fly this whole way with the weather on, but yeah. Well, I mean, we're close enough. Let's see if we turn it back on, what happens. see it's showing like it. Yeah, it goes. It's like we lose 2,000 feet almost. It goes back to that bouncy sort of. Let's look at the temperatures. Where's our temperature at? I think it's down there. Okay. -20, -44. I don't think we turn on the engine anti-ice. That's going to make any difference because we don't have the icing turned on. Is that a plane you're flying as I can't see? Chris. Oh, boy. Alright, I think... Alright, we're just going to try to keep the live weather on. This is just... It's... We've got a decent tailwind of 8 knots. It's not a lot, but we'll take it. So we'll just have to keep an eye on things. All right. So let's kind of look ahead here. We've got 879 nautical miles to our destination. So we can only go out as far as 320 nautical miles. So we've got the one marker there in front of us, Fariz. Our next marker, I think, is way off in the distance there. Yeah, so some of these markers are kind of spread out. So we're just going to be chewing up the distance as best as possible. Okay. I think we're good for now. Now, kind of looking at what we normally see with the profile of our plane when we're at our cruising altitude. It doesn't seem like we're at the right angle. Something doesn't seem right. I could be wrong. Just something feels off. But there we are, our lovely A320 in the Air France livery, on our way to Subang, Malaysia. So, tomorrow we will be going to, let's have a look here. Where are we going to? Oh, that's right, we're in the 747 again, Mumbai to Dubai. There we go. Back in the 747. We'll go back to the Pan Am China Clipper, or the Clipper call sign, flight number, and the tail code that we had for that. So we'll have that. You and Joe must be going to the same place. Why do you say that, Joseph? You think? Is it because of the weather, or is it because of the name of the airport way in the distance there? Which one is it, Joseph? Inquiring minds want to know. Now you're going to have viewers go look for him. Addies. Addies, what are you doing to my stream? It's not good co-pilot behavior. Let me guess, you're probably in Joe's stream saying, if Rob's flying as well, you guys must be going to the same place. Oh, Joseph. You crazy kid, you. Alright, so we finally got up to our cruising altitude. Things kind of seem like they've calmed down. I think we'll leave the weather on. I know the sun is setting. So probably by the time we get to Malaysia, it's going to be dark. So hopefully, if by some crazy chance we have some more thunderstorms, we'll be able to see the thunder light up in the clouds. Or not the thunder, the lightning, I mean. So that should hopefully make for an interesting flight. Right now, at least, we're above the weather. Above this, we got this very thin cloud cover right above us, though. It's nothing I think we need to really worry about. So yeah, we'll be back 6:30 tomorrow morning, East Coast time, 11:30 UK time. Adjust your times accordingly if you are not, depending on where you are in the world. I'm sure you can do the math. So yeah, we're going to do the Mumbai to Dubai in the 747. And then, let's see, that's Thursday. No, it's Wednesday. Today's Tuesday. Wednesday, that's Wednesday. Thursday, we are going to be flying in the 747 from Paris to Lisbon. Friday, we're doing the flight in Hawaii with the Embraer 110. It's going to be a bit of a long flight because we're in a twin prop plane, but it's going to look really nice. We're going to have fun with that. Saturday, Marseille to Toulouse in the Spitfire, and then we're going to hop over in the F-15 and skedaddle over to the Grand Canyon, have a little bit of fun there. And Sunday we will return to Hawaii for a nice scenic tour in the Stearman 75. And then end of the month, just kind of looking ahead because we got a bunch of point-to-point stuff. The last Spitfire Saturday of the month, we will be in Panama City. We're going to take off and we're going to follow the Panama Canal over from the Pacific side to the Atlantic side. And our last flying tour of January will be in the Stearman 75, and we will do a flying tour of the San Francisco Bay Area. Our final flight of January will be from Reykjavik to Murmansk in the A320. So we're going to do that, and then first flight in February will be in the 737 going from Kushiro to Miyakojima. The second, we'll stay in the 737 going from Cochin International in India to Rajiv Gandhi International in India. On the third, we'll still be in the 737. We're going from Glasgow to Oslo. And then the fourth, we're doing the 737 going from St. Pete to Orlando. Let's see, what other fun stuff do we have coming up? On the 21st, we're going from Tokyo to Seoul, Korea in the A320. On the 18th, we're doing a flight in Jamaica from Kingston to, I have to look up the airport name. On Monday the 17th, we're doing a flight from Houston to Phoenix. On Wednesday, we're going to refly the flight from the 5th of January that we missed, and on the next day we will be reflying the flight from the 6th of January in the 737 MAX. What else do we got coming? Oh yeah, the 22nd we're doing the flying tour of the Fulda Gap. If you don't know what that is, I highly recommend you do a bit of research between now and the 22nd. Understand what we're going to be talking about. On the 23rd, we are doing a flying tour of Mexico City in the Stearman 75. 24th, we're going to go from Les Alpes de Huit in France. It's a little airport up in the mountains. And we're going to take off from there and go to Marseille. Should be an interesting flight. On the 23rd, we're doing a trip from Malta to Gada. 26th, we're doing Calgary to Winnipeg. Oh, on the 27th, we're doing a flight in the 737. We're going from San Antonio to Savannah. And the big flight on the 28th, New York, JFK to Frankfurt. Yeah, lots of good stuff coming up. Alright, where did my markers go all of a sudden? Oh, there it is. So lots of flights coming up. We will be doing, we're gonna need a flight plan for the 11th of February, or a destination, or departure and destination. But we're not yet. Not yet. I don't want it yet. Just saying. We'll talk about that when we're doing the long flight from JFK to Frankfurt. Or New York to Frankfurt. So. Mr. Addy's killed the chat. So as soon as we get to this next marker, which is Badao? I could be pronouncing that wrong, but B-A-D-A-U. That'll take a huge chunk out of our flight. We'll be at the 500-something nautical mile. Now, the way we're going to come in to our landing on runway 15, we're going to, as we come into our arrival portion of our flight, we're going to go just through, we're going to skirt off to the right. The airport will be to the left of us. We'll fly almost like a parallel to the airport, and then we'll turn left and left again into our final approach. Fingers crossed this time we won't have any issues with our landing like we did yesterday. I think because there was an update to the airport that I had activated, and it conflicted with some updates to the game itself, so I've removed the updates to the airport because there was conflicting information. So yeah, I'm gonna have to fly that again sometime to see if my suspicions are correct. So, oh, look at this nice sunset. That's pretty nice. So yeah, it'll definitely be dark by the time we get into Malaysia. We'll just leave it that way. Have a nice sunset here, and then we'll have a nice nighttime landing there at the Sultan Abdul Aziz Shah Airport. Hopefully I got that right. Let's have a look. What's that on the tail there? Let's have a look at our plane a little more up close. Wow, look at... Okay. Quick look here while we're just cruising along. 36,000 feet. So Air France, KLM, they are partnered. If you get too close, it gets a little too fuzzy, but there's your engine details.
Aircraft 237 contact Jakarta Center on 120.9er. Good day.
Jakarta.
120.9er Air France 237. Jakarta Center Air France 237 flight level 360.
Air France 237 Jakarta Center, continue as planned.
Oops. I do that by accident sometimes. I didn't mean to do that. Nope. Oh no, the sun's going away. Oh no. Good thing we have lights on the plane, huh? We already got the lights turned on the flight deck. So as soon as the sun goes down, we'll be able to see. We lost our tailwind though, unfortunately. That's no fun. So if you notice, well, we're kind of flying straight, but we're just a little bit off. Thanks to the wind. The plane is adjusting itself accordingly. I think once we pass this marker, we should be pretty close to the... It should be about the halfway point right there. Now what we could do if we want, that's too much. Oh, so I could let, totally forgot to move about the cabin now. We got a little bit of light here. That should be more than sufficient for our... There we go. That should be fine. Actually, 25 would be more than sufficient, I think. Hello, Spam. Thank you. Welcome to the channel. Wow, look at those colors in the clouds. That is absolutely phenomenal. Sun is just clinging to the horizon there. So as we start our descent into, not yet, but when we start eventually here soon, we should see our altimeter readings will come back into effect at about flight level, or about 13,000 feet. So we should get, once we get below that, we should get an updated altimeter reading from the airport, or the whoever's our radar center should get that information, so we'll know we're at the right altitude for coming into our airport. And of course we should get one more altimeter reading as we line up for our approach. Hello, Pulse. How are you? Thank you for stopping by. Nice to see you here. How are you? You did say you were going to put the eyeballs in. I remember that last night. Might have put the eyeballs in and skedaddled. Oh, look at that. Look at the colors there. Now when I do I'm not a big, well, depending on what it is, I'm not a big fan of colors. Except, you know, if you're taking pictures of cars or something, then you want the color of the car to stand out. But this is, well, good to hear, Pulse. They do a really good job with the colors in the sky, especially, you know, in the clouds and everything. Get that nice kind of separation of how things look and feel. Does add a really dramatic feel to the flight. You know, we're fortunate to be able to hang out outside without any repercussions. Although some serious flight simmers, that is an absolute no-no. You're not supposed to go outside and look around, except for, you know, quick look. But you're not supposed to use this view for anything other than, you know, but you're supposed to admire the sun, the colors and everything from the flight deck. So you got the darkness approaching here from the east. The sun is essentially setting there in the west. It is pretty much gone, and all that color will slowly, ever so slightly, disappear. It will make for a much more interesting flight, I think. What? Let me get a picture of this. No, I don't need all the echo in there, but it's just how many likes I got? I only see 4. That's what it tells me on my little, when I'm watching my live stream. It only tells me right now it's saying 4. So, which is fine. I'm trying to make a policy of not asking for likes or, getting a certain number or whatever. If people feel that I am worthy of a thumbs up, then they will do it. If not, that's, I'm trying to not ask for some thumbs up. I just feel like it's a bad policy, so I think most everybody who watches the stream or watches streams in general knows, that the streamer does appreciate the thumbs up, and we know that it does. What it does help is the algorithm, that if you like videos like that, then you will be recommended other channels that you may want to subscribe to. So it does help get my content out there, but okay, Chris, we'll be here. We're just plugging along, as I like to say. We're getting to our destination. Slowly but surely. Well, not slowly, but it seems like we're going slow, but we're not. To kind of reiterate yesterday's bit of insanity in the chat about the speeding the plane up. We are flying within the tolerance of the plane. Everything is going according to plan. So there we go. So yeah, I don't yeah, I'm trying not to ask. Sometimes it feels like we, people aren't going to do the thumbs up. I mean, it is on them, So, but I'm happy with what I get. I have to learn to live with that. It's difficult though, because so yesterday's flight, we had a total of 558 views on that flight. Now the number of likes, I didn't look at the ratio of the likes to dislikes, but I think I got a fairly decent amount of likes. A lot of that happened later in the flight. It's like it's quiet in the beginning, and then suddenly at the end, a bunch of people come in and do the thumbs up, but they don't say anything in the chat, which is fine. Look at that. I gotta look over here and just admire this for a moment. This thin orange light right there. That is just, you got that cloud layer right above it. It's kind of a dark red, almost purple in some spots. Kind of reminds me when I took a painting class years ago in Savannah. The instructor, she'd set up different still lifes, and what she would do is she would add hints of color around the still life, or as the light reflects, and she'd say, well, is this really orange, right? Or do you see a hint of maybe just a bit of purple in there, or pink, or red, or and so you really had to kind of look at the scene and go like, oh yeah, I see that, because the light from this is reflecting on the orange, for instance, or the egg. Is the egg really kind of like an off-white, or do you see a sliver of purple at one edge because there's something to the right of the egg that is purple? You know. Anyway, so yeah, I do appreciate that I'm getting a lot of views, and you know, some people feel that what I'm doing is good enough for a thumbs up here and there. You know, I'm not gonna please everybody, obviously. Not everybody who viewed the video yesterday is going to be here today. It looks like it says we have 92 playbacks. Now, I don't know if that means overall my stream has had 92 views since I started, and some people are only watching for about 2 minutes and 40 seconds. That's the average watch time. For, well, it says for concurrent viewers. But, you know, I don't quite know how to analyze all that analytical information that YouTube gives to content creators. I just try to fly and enjoy it, share my enjoyment of flying with everybody as much as possible. You know, also understanding that not everybody is going to appreciate either the plane I'm flying or the locations that I'm flying in or what I'm doing while I'm flying. Like, there was a few people that were clearly upset with me about what I did in Las Vegas. There was at least 1 or 2 thumbs down on that video. They felt that that was not appropriate for me to do. But, you know, it's just a game. It's not real life. I know in real life that wouldn't happen. There would be massive repercussions, especially in a military jet going down Las Vegas Boulevard. You know, there would be so much damage as the jet went blasting down the street that, yeah, there would be some serious repercussions for that. But it's a video game, and we can do that without any repercussions. Nobody's life was in danger. Nobody was injured. You know, no property was destroyed. The playback number is a bit weird. It doesn't correlate one-to-one how many views you get. Okay. I wasn't sure. Thank you. Yeah, there's a lot about it I don't understand, but I try not to let those sorts of things get to me, because you know, as we were talking last night in Mick and Pulse's stream, you know, we do the things that we enjoy doing. If people also enjoy it, they're going to come back and watch. If not, then that's on them as well. You know, I'm trying to adopt a policy of not asking for likes or comments or anything like that. If you feel that you want to engage in that manner, you're more than welcome to, but it is not required. You know, I can't stop people from giving it a thumbs down. You know, so, you know, it is still an engagement of some kind. You still came in and watched my video for some period of time, so, you know, you still watched it, so you just didn't like it for whatever reason, which is your prerogative. You know, I can't. I had roughly 91 stream, but I ended up with 64 views, so it's a bit off, I think. If I refresh my page, for example, it counts as another playback, but not. Oh, yeah. No. But I also feel like it can be a bit distracting, Pulse. Like, if I sit here and try to analyze it in my mind, what does all that stuff mean? Then it's like I'm not paying attention to what I'm trying to do at the same, you know. I look at the numbers post-stream and go like, oh, I had so many views, and it's like, wow, you know, but it's hit and miss. Like, the view on Mondays or Sundays train stream, we only had 68 views. But then when we did the flying tour around the Amazon, we had 727 views total on that stream. So it's very difficult, like, it's hit and miss. Do I think we're going to get 500 something views today? I doubt it, but I don't know. I won't know until we land and I end the stream and it'll say you had so many views. Now, it would be nice, of course, if everybody who viewed the video, some people only come in for a few minutes and then they're gone. They just kind of pop in and go like, oh, he's flying, and yeah. And it'd be great if we had more people who either subbed. I mean, if 772 people viewed my stream on Sunday, right? And we only got maybe 6 or 7 new subs out of that. Now, if we got everybody in that on that one video to sub, my numbers would shoot up immensely. We'd be more than halfway to 1,000, very quickly. But that's not very realistic. Some people only pop in for a few minutes and are like, yeah, this doesn't look exciting. He's just flying around a river and some green stuff and blah, who cares? Well, it's the Amazon. I wish there was a way I could see things a little bit more clearly. But the realistic thing is I can't expect that all 770 something people would leave a thumbs up or even hit the subscribe button. We can put those little pinned comments there at the top and try to encourage people to subscribe and yeah, exactly. So I mean, I never expected my channel to really grow too terribly much, to be honest. I'm not expecting, would it be nice if I could monetize my channel? Yeah, I'm not going to lie, it would be. But is it realistic for me to make that a goal? No, because when you start to grow your channel, unfortunately, you get a lot of people who aren't coming in to make, be a bit of something positive. They come in because they're miserable, and then they want everybody else to be miserable, and so they start acting up in the chat, and then you got to start, blocking people and stuff like that. And I don't want to have to do that, but it's part of, I think everybody knows it's part of content creation. You're going to get people coming in who don't have or don't care about the channel that they're subscribing to. They're just a bit mad because they want to do streaming, and for whatever reason they can't or they won't. So they take their frustrations out on everybody else. So hour 27 flying time. So we're just about almost 3 minutes behind on from the time we started the stream to our actual flight time there. I'll make a slight adjustment to the right here, it looks like, to our next waypoint, and that is going to be Anito. So we're not quite at our arrival point. Okay, so we got Anito, and then FIR Fury. Well, FIR J2 Udoni, and then Gupta. Gupta is our arrival point of our flight. So we got a little bit to go still. Obviously, we got another 200-something nautical miles to our next point there in the distance. So we'll be in the 300-some-odd nautical mile range to our airport. And so yeah, pretty soon we will start our descent phase into Subang, Malaysia. They're at the Sultan Abdul Aziz Shah Airport. Again, I hope I'm getting that right. I apologize if I am not pronouncing it correctly. Doing my best. So hopefully you appreciate that. But we're going to Subang, Malaysia. Is the major city there. Now, the interesting thing too is we may not be able to see it because of the cloud cover, but we will fly over. I think it'll be kind of off the right wing there. Will be our let's see, I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think it's going to be off the right wing. We're going to go right over the Malaysian Grand Prix circuit. Yeah, well, I mean, part of it, I think it's a language thing, because not everybody who comes in, English is not their primary language. So they don't say much because they're worried that they're going to be misunderstood or something. You know, that's why if somebody posts something in the chat, then I'm like, okay, what does that mean? Or you have people who will just post an emoji of some kind. You know, what do you mean by that emoji? Do you mean something positive? Do you mean something negative? You know, because when you just put that in, it could mean anything. You know, so yeah, I try to ask for clarification. You know, if it's like, oh, I'm just, okay, well, fine, then, you could say that. You could say, oh, you've got a great channel or whatever. They come in during a segment, either you're on a cutscene or not talking, they might just go thinking you don't talk. Yeah. One, it's hard. So, like, when nobody comes in to interact in the chat, then it's like, okay, what about... I feel kind of weird if I continue to talk because I'm talking to myself. So then it's like, well, I might as well go mute because there's nothing really to say. What am I going to continue to talk about? So if that's the case, if somebody comes in and goes like, hey, how's it going? Okay, at least then I have some kind of interaction to work with. But without that, it's very difficult, especially on, this is going to be at least about a 3-hour flight, right? So if there was no real interaction in the chat, this 3-hour flight would feel like forever. Because I'd be looking over, okay, nobody's in the chat, nobody's saying anything. All right, then I guess I'm not going to talk either. I can go over the stuff like, yeah, this is our next waypoint, this is where we're heading and all that, but without any reciprocal interaction, then it kind of feels like, yeah, I feel like I'm talking to myself, So, yeah, it's not a lot of fun. It's very difficult, and that's the hard part. Is it's hit and miss, I think, for creators, especially when you don't have like a, for multiplayer, at least you have other people in the chat with you to kind of keep the conversation going. But when there's no conversation in the chat and you're by yourself, it just feels I don't know how to say it. It feels bad. It feels like, for lack of a better term, and pardon what I'm about to say, but it feels like ass. Just you're like, wow, here I am doing a video, nobody's in saying anything. You kind of feel like, man, did I piss off a bunch of people or what happened? You know. So it's easy to get, you know, a bit, you start to get disgruntled, you know, and you're just like, wow, what do I got to do to get people to, no, no, sometimes, honestly, Mick, like when you're not, and I'm not trying to single you out, but for instance, when you're not around and it's like, dang, what happened to Mick? It's just like you just kind of fell off, you know, and I know we all kind of go through that sometimes. We kind of just disappear. And, you know, we've got a lot of other things going on that we need to address in our lives. And, you know, we can't always be you know, in the chat with our friends and everything. And I get that. But, yeah. And I'm not saying that either. Oh. That's why it's nice sometimes streaming with Mick. It cuts down on this. Yeah. Exactly. When you guys are in a multiplayer aspect of the game, you guys can have those, you know, you kind of keep each other going. But yeah, there was times, you know, sometimes it's like, man, when there's like nobody in the chat, there's stuff to mention, story to follow, whereas I think I would struggle so hard in this game I wouldn't know what to say. I think you have. Well, I try to, you know, like we can go out here, we can look at the plane, we can zoom in and look around and all that, which is fine. You know, and we can kind of admire or at least, you know, look at the setting sun and talk about the colors of the sky and everything. I mean, I know for most people that's kind of like, who cares about that? Well, but it's an interesting aspect of the game that you see the transition from the night sky. You still got that little bit of light there. The sun's still holding on. But, you know, pretty soon it's going to be much darker. And then you can look, you know, got all these nice stars. And there's a part of the moon right there. You got about a half moon. You know. But, yeah, when it's, you know, we can look around and go like, okay, let's look at our next waypoint. And we can zoom out and get a look at what's coming up 320 nautical miles from now. So this is what's kind of happening here in the near future. So we have Anitos in front of us, and then we have that FIRJ2 and then Udoni right there. That's the marker right there, Udoni. And then we'll have Gupta somewhere over up in here, and you know, then we'll start descending into our destination. But yeah, it's difficult to reiterate a lot of that stuff because when there's nobody to say, oh, well, thanks for the update, or cool, or, you know, what made you decide to pick this destination, or, you know, something like that. Yeah, it's very difficult. Looks like we got that tailwind again at 12 knots. 13. There we go. Hopefully we'll get pushed a little bit quicker to our destination, possibly. But yeah, when because the plane's essentially flying itself, you know, I have time to chat. You know, as long as the chat is reasonable, the questions are reasonable, comments are reasonable. You know, when it becomes unreasonable, then it's no longer any fun. You know, because then it's like people are just coming in just to talk out their backside. And that's you know, after a while you're like, okay. You know, like yesterday in that whole spiel about, oh, make the plane go faster. Well, that's not safe. You know, that's not how it works. The system is programmed a certain way for safety reasons. You know, if you want to fly like a maniac in a A320, you're more than welcome to, but that's not how I work. You know, it's kind of like back in the day when people would tell Joe to to speed up and to crash. Oh, why don't you just go off the rails? Go as quickly as you can and derail the train. Let's see what happens. Why would I do that? Now, when we have fun in the Spitfire, or especially when we're doing some, stomach turning flying in the F-14 or the F-15 or whatever, that's all fine and good. But, if we happen to hit the ground and we crash, that's okay. It's no big deal. We have a laugh and we try it again, and But I know there was like one person on Twitch that I followed for a while that I was just like, this doesn't make any sense. That he would purposely take off and he would purposely crash the plane. That's all he did, and it's like, okay, well, that might be funny the first couple times, but after a while, it's like, okay, yeah, this isn't as much fun as it seems it would be. Yeah. No bueno. No bueno. I mean, I realize I'm going to make mistakes, and sometimes the mistakes are so insane that there's not much you can do to recover from it. So I'm like, well, we'll try again tomorrow. But anyway. But it's nice to have my, the usual viewers come in and hang out. I know some people, they come in for a while and they're like, yeah, I think I'm done with this. I'll catch you another time. Which is fine. Looks like there's an airport or something over there off the left wing tip. So yeah, hopefully we're going to get some more updates this Thursday. World Update 8 is coming out probably either at the end of this month or sometime in February, or who knows. Can't guess when or if it's going to come out. Well, it will come out. It's just a matter of when, not if. I think they're still working through a lot of the testing and making sure that everything works according to plan as much as possible. I think this Thursday possibly we'll get the update to the F-15, which I think fixes the throttle problem, where the throttles are kind of doing their own thing separately instead of together. So hopefully that takes care of that if we get that update this Thursday or maybe next Thursday. No word on new aircraft coming for the Xbox side of things. So I guess it'll be a surprise. I'm not expecting any, to be honest. That way I'm not disappointed when we don't get any new planes to play with. But we'll see. Hopefully we get something good soon. I'm really wanting to get the CRJs, so we have some regional jets that we can do regional services. I'd like to get that so that we could do maybe a once weekly. We'll make it a standard that we'll do a service from Savannah, or not from my local airport where I live to to some destination that would try to like mirror an actual flight, and all that. So yeah, at least would give us some options, so yeah, it would be nice to get the Bombardier regional jets so that we could have some regional jet service. And we could do regional stuff even worldwide. We don't have to keep it here in America, but we could find those. We could start replicating real regional jet service from point to point, which I think would be fun. That way, if it's a short flight, if it's only 45 minutes, and that's, sometimes those short flights are reasonable, and then, it'd be a nice balance to our once monthly long haul flights. So yeah, but we'll see what we get. So we're just cruising along here. More than halfway into the flight. We're in almost the last quarter. I think we're almost at 75% of the flight done. I think it was over 1,000 nautical miles total flight distance. So we will wrap things up as soon as we land and get to our gate, and we'll call it a day. Chris is back. Welcome back, Chris. Nice to see you. So yeah, we'll wrap things up once we're at the gate. We'll shut the plane down and call it a day. We'll be back at it tomorrow in the 747 going from Mumbai to Dubai. Be about I think that's going to be about a 4-hour flight, if I remember correctly, give or take. It might be about 4 hours. We'll try the live weather again. Hopefully it gets reset again today, but we're able to finally get to our cruising altitude and turn the weather back on, so we have this nice cloud cover. And so, like I said, if there's any thunderstorms, we'll see the lightning in the clouds, hopefully. If we have any still in the area, at least that'll make things a little bit interesting. And we'll be on the ground, and before we know it, I think this is a good point in the flight. I'm gonna take a quick break, step away for a moment. I will be right back. Go freshen up your coffee or your beverage of choice and your snacks, and I will be back in just a moment. Thank you, Mick. Hello, Amela. How are you? Nice to see you here. You know, now that you're here, Mel, let me ask you. My dad was asking me last night when I was talking to him on the phone, or yesterday afternoon sometime. He asked if I heard about some big fire there in New York City, and I said, no, I didn't know that there was some sort of, I guess, a high-rise building or something caught on fire. I don't know if it was like an apartment complex or something. Yeah, a lot of people went. I don't know what the number is, how many people died, or so a lot of people had to go to the hospital for burns and stuff like that. So I didn't know if you, not that we'd like to talk about negative things like that, but I figured you'd know since you're in the city there. If you heard anything. If not, that's quite all right. We armed this already. Yep. Speed brakes are armed. Got the auto brakes turned on. They're about level 2, I think. Have a look at that. Yeah, about medium. Actually, you know what? We can put it to low. I think that's more than sufficient to slow us down. So we've got we'll be at Anito soon, and we can look. We should be able to see pretty much the rest of the that's as far out as that's 320 nautical miles. So this is kind of what things are looking like. So once we get to Udoni, our next marker there is Gupta, and then from there it's just all our descent information, descent altitudes as we prepare to land there at in Subang. The place it happened is not far from where I am, just up North Bronx. It was very serious. Even showed up at. Oh wow! I don't really. I don't watch the news. I'm surprised I didn't get some kind of a notification about it, to be honest, because I do get. Sometimes I'll get news notifications on my phone, but I'm okay. It's just cold here. It's, well, let's have a look. How cold is it? You might ask. It is currently it feels like negative 26 degrees Fahrenheit. It is currently 1 degree Fahrenheit, but feels like negative 26. No thanks. I am not going outside today. There's a wind chill advisory as well. Yeah, he asked me about it, and I was like, I don't know. I don't, you know. And like I said, I'm surprised I didn't get a news notification on my phone. It's weird. I get them very intermittently, you know, which is fine. I you know, but yeah, that's insane though. Well, I feel bad for the people who are got burned or died. That's an unfortunate way to start the new year. Oh, and I can imagine with the weather probably didn't help things, because, you know, if it's really cold, you know, but it's an unfortunate way to start the new year for those folks. You know, a lot of people have lost their place to live, they've lost their belongings, and, you know, stuff like that. It's rather unfortunate. You know, now you got to deal with the scarring, emotional and otherwise, of the fire. It's very, very sad. Yeah, when he asked me about him, I don't. Nothing. No offense. I don't really follow New York City news. Got enough of my own worries to worry about, you know. But yeah, it's just unfortunate that that happened. Hopefully they all recover well, and as well as could be expected, and that's all you can do. Well, and you know, that's the bad part, is a lot of, so, you know, if some of these buildings, especially in New York City, there's a lot of places that are essentially the apartments, it's barely livable. Like, nobody should really be living there. And so then you have these people use these electric space heaters, and then they overload it, and it causes that fire, and it spreads very quickly. Right, so that's a short trip to the next marker there. So if it sparks or whatever, then it just gets out of control very quick, and yeah, it can make, you know, those places go up very quick, and so it makes it harder for the firefighters to get the building under control. Plus they're battling the elements. You know, you have the cold weather, you have, if you've got the wind, you know, spraying the water, you know, that doesn't help anything. They're not really able to fight the fire properly. So yeah, it's just a lot of things. It's, yeah, but people are, that's the only way they can stay warm. There's no gas, you know, in a lot of those buildings, there's no gas heating that's available, so they're desperate to remain warm, and so they're like, oh, I'll just plug in this little space heater. Yeah, arson, that's another thing too, because you have some landlord, or, you know, owners of buildings that, you know, unfortunately you have people who are suspect that they will set fire to a building to get the insurance out of it. You know, they just want to cut their losses, and nobody will buy the building because they know if they sell it, there's going to be a lot of questions as to how the building is still standing, you know, or allowed to.
Contact Singapore Center on 123.7.
Wow, Singapore.
Good day.
Going to
Well, that's a pretty far
123.7
stretch for.
Air France 237.
Oh, maybe, I don't know.
Singapore Center Air France 237 flight level 360.
Air France 237 Singapore Center, continue to FIRJ2 as planned.
All right, so that's the one in front of us that we're about to fly through here. Yeah, because there was a lot of big talk over the years about slum landlords who were, you know, basically had these buildings that, you know, they They charge very little, but the living conditions are just really terrible. You know, people, essentially living on top of one another, because that's all they can afford. And so, no heating, no air conditioning, hardly, no, bathrooms are, they are what they are, and yeah, it's just not a healthy living condition. And they got away with it for many years, and then when, people started to complain, and they were forced to basically they had to start explaining their bad electric heat. Like, a lot of places they're like, no, you can't, even jobs, if you work like at a little desk, for instance, like you're a receptionist, no, they don't even want you to have an electric heater there at your little desk. If you're like right inside the entrance of a building, sorry, but no, you gotta sit there and shiver and suffer with it. So yeah, it's a very, and New York is, I think, unfortunately notorious for the whole slum landlord sort of way of thinking. And they don't like to answer questions about their buildings, because they know that they're wrong in what they're doing. And it's all over. I think it's not just New York, but a lot of places, they just know that, if you've got no other option, well, you're going to live in a closet essentially with, a bunch of other people, and that's all you can afford. Like, I know, unfortunately, when many buildings were built, there was no real code office, and if there was, generally they were on the take from the landlords. Electric blankets had a bad reputation for many years. That if you left it on for too long and it shorted, especially if you had one of the older ones. The newer ones, I think, are a bit safer, but the older ones, if the wires got exposed somehow and zapped, you were covered up, you're screwed. Either you're going to die from the fire, or you're going to be severely burned, and your life is pretty much ruined. You're going to be in a burn unit for quite some time waiting to heal up. And that is no... We went to the burn unit there at Brooks Army Medical Center when I was going to medic school, and it is not a very pleasant, it's terrible, because you got to clean the burn skin, and that is not a, certainly for the patient, that is not a fun experience. But it's got to be cleaned. And so all you hear is the screaming while they're getting treated, because that's the only way. Double check the stove heaters, because you don't want to. But a lot of people, they're like, I got to leave it on because otherwise I freeze at night. It's like the people who sleep in their cars. They run their cars and then they pass out from the CO2. They get it. I tell you, that is one thing. I hope I never get burned that seriously that I have to spend any period of time in a burn unit. That is just... I wouldn't even... even as a medic, I was like, that's the one area of medicine I do not want to ever have to go and work in, even though it's something that needs to be done. But yeah, we got to go over there to see it for ourselves, and it was like, man, yeah. Yeah. It's rather unfortunate. But that is the it is now a that hospital, their Brooks Army Medical Center, is now even if a non-military service member gets burned, that is where they go for treatment. It is the number one burn unit, at least on the West Coast or the western part of the United States. But yeah, if they are in San Antonio and suffer burns of any level, they go there for treatment. That is a partnership that they made with the city of San Antonio. So, and if it's I guess it's like really the number one trauma center as well in the city of San Antonio. But yeah, I feel bad for those people that got burned. That is just, oof. They've got a long road ahead of them. Anyways. Yeah, I didn't mean to drudge up all that. I figured I'd ask since you popped in, so yeah, it's unfortunate. Alright, just past 2 hours in our flight. We got 2:07 here, so we're about 2-minute difference. Yeah, we should be done probably within close to 3 hours, I think. Still got a bit more to go. One more big chunk here to Gupta, and then we'll start our descent. There we go. And that's it. So we can go ahead and request 30,000 feet for flight level 300, or we can get a little bit closer. We'll get into the 100 nautical mile range, and then we'll start our initial descent. We can go ahead and put on the flight attendants can start preparing the get the trash picked up. People need to get back in their seats, sit down and be quiet. But yeah, I think that's probably what happened with this weather, especially at night when, during the day maybe it was a bit warmer, or it felt warmer, and at night, but as soon as that sun goes down and, you're huddled up and you're thinking, I gotta do something to stay warm, and that's your option, and, you cross your fingers that it's not going to go wrong, that you can sleep with the sleep through the night warm and safe. It's not necessarily guaranteed. Alright, let's have a look. Let's zoom out just a bit. Basically, that is that is all of our flight. So kind of what you'll see here, there's Gupta right there. That's our the start of our descent into Subang. So we're going to go this way, and then we're going to over here, this is that part where I was talking about where we're going to go to we'll turn right a little bit. Airport will be to our left. We'll fly down past the airport, and we'll hang a left a couple times into the airport, and then we're all set. So that is how things are going to play out here for the remaining quarter of our flight. Well, like I have gas heating where I am, which is good. Although sometimes at night, when the system is kind of cycling, you get this knocking sound in the pipes for the gas heating. And it can be a bit, it'll wake you up, especially if like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. It's almost like somebody's knocking on your door, unfortunately. But I sleep, I've got like, I'll wear like a, long sleeve shirt to bed if I think I'm going to be too cold. I'll even put socks on, which I try not to do because many podiatrists will say that's not good for your feet because it'll sweat. Your feet will sweat, but there have been I think people have developed like essentially what are sleep socks that are supposed to, they will dissipate the, if your feet start to sweat, it kind of deals with that. But yeah, I'll put socks on if I need to, but I'll wear a long sleeve shirt or even a Henley. I've got it's not super thick, but I'll wear a Henley to bed too. And I'm plenty toasty warm. But yeah, I had a bad experience in Germany with the cold. I was standing guard at a motor pool gate, and even though I had winterized boots, that were supposed to be the best boots for cold weather, my feet, I was like stomping my feet to keep the blood flowing and try to keep my feet warm. It was so, yeah, screw that. I hate cold weather. All right, I think we can go ahead and start reducing to 300.
Singapore Center Air France 237. Request flight level 300.
Air France 237 descend and maintain flight level 300.
There we go.
Descend and maintain flight level 300 Air France 237.
Air France 237 contact Kuala Lumpur Center on 126.1. Good day.
Hey.
Going to 126.1
There we go.
Air France 237. Kuala Lumpur Center Air France 237 is at flight level 360, descending flight level 300.
Air France 237 Kuala Lumpur Center continue to Gupta as planned.
All right. Well, there we go. We are getting close to our arrival. Well, our arrival portion. So, for those of you who don't know Flight Simulator, Microsoft Flight Simulator, so basically what we do, and maybe tomorrow when we start the stream, I'm going to show you how I build a flight plan. Okay, kind of guys get an idea of how it goes and everything. The two main portions I always try to make sure I get is a departure path out of the airport, which makes it easier for me to engage all the pertinent systems like the autopilot, the navigation, depending on what plane we're flying. The A320 at least has it all built in. I hit autopilot and it takes care of that all on its own. Okay. I think we're below, yeah, we can go ahead and get back to knots now since we're below the out of the stratosphere. So you wanted the departure part of the flight, which is where you start your initial climb out and everything, and then you go to your cruise phase, and then you have your arrival phase. And you're not always going to be able to do that because they don't have that in every part of the world. So you have to be very cognizant. If you have a direct arrival, you have to kind of watch your altitudes and everything, and be ready to start, getting your reductions in altitude in place so that you're set up for your approach into the airport. You don't want to wait to the last minute, if at all possible. So, so we'll go over that tomorrow when we do our flight from Mumbai to Dubai. We'll be in the world screen, and we'll pick our airports and all that. So I'll show you guys how we do all that, and then we'll go from there. So Gupta is our arrival point, with a star, I think is what they call it. So the SID is our departure portion of the flight when we take off, and the SID is our departure plan. And it's usually, to climb out, start gaining some altitude, clear airspace, I think, for arriving flights, stuff like that. And what I try to do is I try to get it where it kind of correlates with which way we're going. You may not always be able to do that, but I try to do that as well. And then the cruise phase is pretty much explanatory, self-explanatory. The autopilot's going, and all you got to do is manage your altitudes. The speed will handle itself. So it's all good. Now the other thing too is most modern jets, like the A320, you have a engine system that is supposed to be really good on fuel consumption, as well as noise abatement. The older jets certainly are ridiculously loud. So everything is done with fuel consumption and all that in mind. All right, let's have a look. That's 160 nautical miles. That's pretty much our entire flight plan there, just within that little 160 nautical mile range. So we'll see. Our Gupta will come into on the top there. Should appear any moment now. There it is, sneaking into the screen. So if you, there is quite a few YouTube videos out there if you're trying to understand the departure and arrival part of the flight. There's some videos out there. If you just Google it on YouTube or search for it on YouTube, you'll get an idea of what those things mean and what they do as far as the what do all those things really do in the flight. So I think, in some areas when they take off, they'll try to do a departure where there's maybe a bit of scenery, iconic sort of stuff. Oh, crap. Okay. YouTube's acting up again. I apologize if it's starting to get it's starting to buffer or something. It might be Aircast is acting up. Seem to be fine over on Twitch. Keep an eye on it. Hopefully we don't have a YouTube crash. Yeah. Okay, now it went back to excellent. Oh, now it says no data. Oh, for God's sakes. Alright, be prepared to go to Twitch, everybody. I'm sorry. It's so hit and miss sometimes with, you know, when I updated my internet. God. That figures. It's either planes are crashing or my internet is acting up. I can't I can't win for losing. So yeah, if you know my Twitch channel, do head over there to continue watching. I'll try to. I never know when YouTube is going to act up. You know, it's hit and miss. Okay, now it seems like it fixed itself. Alright, hopefully that's the end of that. So yeah, well, as I was saying, so like the SID and the star, which is what we have in front of us, that's our arrival portion. Yeah, if you want to know more information, I would highly recommend you go to YouTube to search for it. It'll kind of explain things in better detail than I can. I don't know all the particulars and how it all works together, but maybe I can. I guess I'll have to assign myself some homework, because why not? I know out of San Francisco, I think they try to, depending on where you're going, I think they try to depart in a manner that you get to see a bit of the scenery out of the bay on your way out, depending on which side of the aircraft you're seated on. Alright, so we should have our next altitude reduction here. So we'll go 23,000 feet. So 7.
Kuala Lumpur Center Air France 237. Request flight level 230.
Air France 237, descend and maintain flight level 230.
Descend and maintain flight level 230 Air France 237.
There we go.
France 237, contact Kuala Lumpur Center on 132.6. Good day.
132.6 Air France 237. Kuala Lumpur Center Air France 237 is passing flight level 295, descending flight level 230.
Air France 237 Kuala Lumpur Center, continue to SA 623 as planned.
Alright, so if we so basically there's our track. We'll continue to descend through here, and then once we get to a certain altitude we'll go ahead and start slowing the plane down. We'll go ahead and throw our lights on, why not? We like a well-lit plane. There's our landing lights there. So this always seems to be the portion of the flight that goes the quickest, because we're covering a lot of distance we're covering distance quickly as we descend, because we're nosed over a bit, although it doesn't seem like it, but we are. So we'll look for our next reduction in altitude as soon as we pass SA 623. Now, our standard practice for those of you who are new to the channel, once I'm kind of starting to line up for landing, I will not be looking at the chat until we get her on the ground. Slow the plane down enough to turn off the runway. So if I miss your posts in the chat, it's not intentional. I'm not trying to ignore you on purpose. Well, I am ignoring you on purpose. I'm not trying to do it to be mean, though. Because usually that's when everybody wants to start talking when I'm trying to concentrate on landing. Thank you, Moa. Alright, so here's how it looks. So there's kind of what I was talking about. That's our portion that we're going to fly. Okay, so 3, 4.
Kuala Lumpur Center Air France 237. Request flight level 190.
Air France 237 descend and maintain flight level 190.
Descend and maintain flight level 190
There
Air
we go.
France 237.
Eventually, we won't be able to request our reductions in altitude any further. It will all be from the air traffic control. Mel's been around long enough, knows knows what I'm talking about. And as I said yesterday, do not let the fact that I have long-term viewers in the chat keep you from saying hello. We do want you all to come in and hang out, say hello, be a part of the conversation within reason. That's the key, within reason. So all right, let's go ahead and get our speed to 210. While we're descending here, just so that we're ready for that. Of course, the nose kind of dipped up there for a moment to bleed off a little bit of that speed. All right, and then we're going to ask for an additional 2,000 feet.
Center Air France 237. Request 17,000 feet.
Air France 237 descend and maintain 17,000 feet.
Descend and maintain 17,000 feet Air France 237.
Alright, so kind of looking again. There's that plan, although we're at, should have it at 40, since we're within that range. Yeah, okay, so now you see kind of that part that I'm talking about. So we're going to go from here, we're going to take that track to the right just a bit, and then we're going to go parallel to the airport for our continuing our arrival into the airport here. I think hey, there it is. So there's the main airport there in Subang. So the circuit is right there. I believe. Yeah. There's the Grand Prix circuit. We're flying over it right now. It's off the left, under the left wing. I was wrong. I thought it was going to be on the right wing, but there we go. There is the circuit for the Malaysian Grand Prix. F1 race. Alright, 11,000 feet.
Kuala Lumpur Center, Air France 237. Request 11,000 feet.
Air France 237 descend and maintain 11,000 feet. Keep speed not above 230 knots.
Descend and maintain 11,000 feet. Keep speed not above 230 knots. Air France 237.
Yeah, when I was doing the flight plan, I was like, oh, we're going to go right over the F1 circuit. There it is. Very handy that it's right next to the larger airport. So when the teams do fly in their supplies, they don't have to travel very far to the Grand Prix circuit. Helps out immensely. I'm sure that helps cut some costs as well. I don't know that ever... I think when it first started it was a pretty big deal, but now it's kind of... I don't think they ever fill the seats anymore. So there's our airport there. So we are... go ahead and let's get to 11. We'll start slowing down once we're... Now this airport is at only 71... I know it's about 70 or almost 80 feet above sea level. So we're going to have to come in at a much more reduced altitude in order to meet our runway correctly. Guessing we'll approach in at maybe, I'm going to say about 2,000 feet. I could be wrong, but that's going to be my guesstimate. I wouldn't mind visiting Malaysia one day. Food, of course, is... I know Milla will agree. We talk about food. There's not much that Milla disagrees about. The food in Malaysia, I'm sure, is absolutely fantastic. The local cuisine, I'm sure, is amazing. Oh, look, they're finally coming through to throw down a little salt here in the parking lot. Not sure how much good it's going to do, but at least it's something. Milla, have you had your pre-breakfast breakfast yet? Alright, so there's the airport. We're going to turn a little bit more, and then we're going to almost parallel to it now, but we're going to go past the airport and then kind of turn around. All right, let's go ahead and get this to 180 since we're nearing our Go ahead and get some. Almost. I have to wonder what Chris got for breakfast. He said he was going out for something to eat, or maybe it was lunch. What did you go out and get, Chris? Just out of curiosity. I don't think it's Turkish Delight. At least I hope not. Or is that only when Sue's around, the Turkish Delight? Additional 2,000 feet.
Kuala Lumpur Center Air France 237. Request 9,000 feet.
Air France 237, descend and maintain 9,000 feet.
Descend and maintain 9,000 feet, Air France 237.
Ooh, Stroop Waffle. Uh-oh. You're gonna make Mick jealous. Any minute now, Mick is gonna have something to say about that. I'm almost certain of that.
Air France 237, contact Kuala Lumpur approach on 124.2. Good day.
But we gotta get our
124.2 Air
altimeter back
France
to
237. Kuala Lumpur approach Air France 237 is at 10,500 feet, descending 9,000 feet.
Air France 237, Kuala Lumpur approach
29 or
altimeter
83.
29.83, continue to SA 606 is
Oh, I wasn't too far off then. I figured if we start with 80, we were pretty close to what we took off with, so yeah, not too shabby. I get my guesstimates pretty good sometimes. Not too shabby for an old guy. I do have Stroop Waffle, so I'm all fine. Yeah, but you don't have a Mela Stroop Waffle, Mick. That's the problem. If you have a Mela Stroop Waffle as well as yours, then it's even better. That's the key. Did I put that on? So as soon as we lower the gear, we've got all our lights set to help us see where we're going. Not that the runway is going to be well lit anyway, but you know me, I like to have my lights on. It's half the fun. The more well lit our plane, the better. Hey, my co-pilot returned just in time for the landing. I was gonna have to fire you here pretty soon, Joseph, if you didn't return for your co-pilot duties on landing. You're lucky.
Kuala Lumpur approach Air France 237. Request 8,000
237, descend and maintain 8,000 feet.
Descend and maintain 8,000 feet, Air France 237.
All right.
Kuala Lumpur approach Air France 237. Request 7,000 feet.
Air France 237, descend and maintain 8,000 feet. Expect 7,000 feet. Keep speed not above 210 knots.
Now we're
Descend and maintain
already set up
8,000
for that.
feet.
I can
Expect
assure you
7,000
there.
feet. Keep speed not above 210 knots. Air
I
France
will go to
237.
160.
Air France 237, descend and maintain 7,000 feet.
Descend and maintain 7,000 feet, Air France 237.
You getting all this there, Joseph? I'm relying on you. You're my co-pilot, so hopefully you're paying attention. I can't do everything myself.
Kuala Lumpur approach Air France 237. Request 6,000 feet.
Air France 237, descend and maintain 6,000 feet.
Descend and maintain 6,000 feet, Air France 237.
I guess I don't really need that. Might have been a little early on the landing gear. That's alright. I blame it on Mr. Addies. He put the landing gear down early. I'm glad to see you back, Joseph. Honestly, it's good to see you. Might give you a hard time here and there, but it's good to see you, my friend. Hopefully things are going better for you. All right, another 1,000 feet.
Kuala Lumpur approach Air France 237. Request 5,000 feet.
Air France 237, descend and maintain 5,000 feet.
Descend and maintain 5,000 feet, Air France 237.
I think he buggered off again, Amela. Typical Addie's fashion. He got a little nervous about landing the plane. I should tell you, Joseph, it's an honorary position. You don't really have to do anything. As I always tell other people, all you got to do is sit in the right chair and look good. That's it. Mick is very well adjusted to the sitting in the right chair looking good. He's quite happy to do it. because he can just drink his latte and have his troop waffle, and he's fine. All right, one more go. 4,000.
Kuala Lumpur approach Air France 237. Request 4,000 feet.
Air France 237, descend and maintain 4,000 feet.
Descend and maintain 4,000 feet, Air France 237.
Did you ever figure out what was going on, Joseph, or they just never? You don't really know. I mean, you don't really have to say if it's too yucky. Milla's eating pre-breakfast, so don't want to make Milla throw up. Alright, so we do, look at that. So we do have a bit of a crosswind. 13 knots. That's not too terribly bad. So we'll make one more adjustment as we turn towards the airport just a bit more.
Air France 237, you are 23 miles northwest. Maintain present
There we
heading and
go.
altitude. Expect vectors ILS runway 15 approach.
You got it. Give him the old crusty
Maintain present
salute.
Heading and altitude. Expect vectors ILS runway 15 approach Air France 237.
Go ahead and slow down one more time.
Air France 237, you are 22 miles northwest of Subang. Descend and maintain 2,000.
Wow, I guessed it right. Look at that. I am just full of the good guesses today. 2,500. I was right on the money.
Descend and maintain
I better go get a lottery
2,500
ticket.
feet. Tower on 118.2 Air France 237. Tower Air France 23721 miles northwest inbound ILS runway 15 approach.
Air France 237 Tower. Altimeter 29.
All right. Take care, Mella. Nice to see you again, as always.
15 approach.
Be safe, be
Cleared
well.
ILS runway
We'll
15
catch you
approach Air
later.
France 237.
Always happy to see you. You're okay in my book. I don't care what Addie says about you. Oh, Joseph, what do you like? I still think it was hilarious when you asked Bex that last night. Bex got a little taste of the infamous Mr. Addy's question. What are you like? I'll always associate that question with you, Joseph. Alright, so once we get a little bit closer, we'll engage the approach mode. You taking notes, Joseph? I'm going to rely on you. You're my co-pilot. We're not on the ground yet. We still got work to do. I know you're over there in the right seat trying to look good, but you gotta be on your game. Gotta be on the ball. If Mick's got to come and yank you out the seat and take you to the back of the plane, you're not going to like it. Should be our approach mode, right? Nope, that's expedite. Approach is right.
2,500.
There. Give it a go, huh? All right. Let's see, it should lock in here. Oh, no. Oh, there it goes. Okay. All right. Now it's going to correct the course just ever so slightly. I thought we were going to start going way off course there. Any moment now, Death Star is going to lock us in with the tractor beam. Here it comes. Any moment now, we're going to start the glide all the way into the airport there. Come on, tractor beam, lock in. It's thinking about it. It's thinking about it. It's really thinking about it. It wants to. Come on, tractor beam. There we go. I don't want to go on this ride, Mom. I don't want to go on the Death Star. All right, we are locked in on the ILS approach here into Sultan Abdul Aziz Shah Airport here in Subang, Malaysia. Here we go, folks. Nice nighttime landing. We had the sunset as we were coming into the airport here. There we go. Should get one more landing clearance call from the airport, I would imagine. Go.
Clear to land runway 15.
Clear to land runway 15 Air France 237.
So that's from the south, almost a headwind. Oh, that's saying 136 at 3. Seems to be a conflict of information there. I don't know what to think. Yeah, just over. We just hit the 3-hour mark here on the stream. Thank you all for coming in today, hanging out. Greatly appreciate it. We'll be on the ground in a moment. Look at all this. Everybody wave to the apartment buildings. Hey. Not sure what the local time is, to be honest. It's got to be, I'm guessing, about maybe 8 o'clock in the evening. Possibly.
500.
Oh no, 500 feet. Oh my goodness. The love plane will soon be making another landing. Do do do.
300.
Do 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 do.
200.
Wow, we are a bit off the runway there.
100. 60. 50. 40. 30. 20. Retard 5.
Well, there we are. On behalf of myself and the entire flight crew, including First Officer Addies, I'd like to welcome you to Subang, Malaysia, Sultan Abdul Aziz Shah International Airport. Oops, come on now.
Air France 237, turn next taxiway.
Look at that. That's how we like to do our landings. Oops, I missed the taxiway. Oops-a-daisy. We'd like to acknowledge the fact that you have many options when it comes to your Microsoft Flight Simulator viewing live stream pleasures. And we are glad that you chose us today.
Air France 237, contact ground on 121.9er.
Going to 121.9er, Air France 237.
121.9er. Is that? Oh, that is correct.
Ground Air
Parking?
France
I want to go to a
237,
gate.
taxi
I guess
to
we don't get a gate.
Air France 237 taxi to general aviation parking using taxiway.
Oh, general
Taxi
aviation
to
parking.
general aviation parking via taxiway Air
Alrighty
France
then.
237.
Oh, well, thank you, Sir Mick. So we will be back tomorrow in the 747, going from Mumbai to Dubai. So do join us for that. We look forward to flying with you again then. Well done, Joseph, for your first time as the co-pilot. Everybody give Joseph a round of applause. Well done, young man. You made it look easy. Ooh, I'm speeding a little bit. Oh, look, we got a welcome party here. Uh-oh, now they're all like, oh my god, he's here, he's here. Everybody turn around and go the other way. No, only one vehicle is going to go the other way. He's like, I'm not going with you guys. I'm doing my own thing. I'm going to try to race this A320 to a parking spot. You might need me there. Hey, it's like he's having a race with me. Mick, is that you in the fuel truck trying to race me to the parking spot? Or is that you, Chris, trying to get her over there to cause some chaos once we pull into the parking spot here? That is, I think that's the fuel truck. Let's see if he pulls into the area there to... Nope, nope. He's like, nah, I'm not going to refuel that fool. I don't like the Air France flight. I don't like their planes. I don't like the name. He's not getting fuel from me. Where in the bloody blue blaze is that thing going? It's like he's just driving around checking out the airport. Oh, I'm bored. I'm just going to drive all over the place. Ooh, we got the We got the stairs. Ooh, look at that. We're actually gonna call for the stair connection. Check this out. Let's ask for the stairs.
Ground Air France 237, could you please send a ramp?
Air France 237, a ramp is on its way.
Ooh, there goes the door. Look at that. Watch this. Ooh, where are you driving to? We'll watch this connect. This is the best part of the flight, I think. Watch now. This is the funny part. It's going to go towards the front there, right? And then it's going to lift up there to make sure it's lined up, and it's going to pull forward, and then it's going to like slide into place. Watch this. This is the craziest thing ever. Yeah, of course we landed. It's all on you, Joseph. You did the work. I just sat back and I didn't do anything. You did all the work. I'm kidding, of course. Of course we landed okay. Bingo, look at that. It just slides into place. It doesn't like go right straight in. Alright, let's go ahead and just shut this down. There we go. Alright, 2 hours and 50 minutes. Oh, thank you, Joseph. You did an awesome job as the co-pilot. And we got, ooh, look at that. So we got an hour and 26 minutes of night flying, which helps out because we need 50 hours for an achievement. And an hour and a half, so almost split in half. A little bit more on the nighttime flying, but not too shabby. So anyway, there we go. That is going to be it for today, folks. I do appreciate everybody tuning in, hanging out. Oh, of course, right at the end. Look at that. It never fails. I know you do, Joseph. It's all good. It's an honorary thing. Quite honestly. So yeah, whoever is in the chat first is the co-pilot for the flight. So anyway, do enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. I will see you all tomorrow, normal time, in the 747 Mumbai to Dubai. So do come in and join us for that. It should be a lot of fun. Hopefully it'll be a nice, fun flight as well. So, yeah. Anyway, do enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. I will see you all then. Peace. Live long and prosper.